please stand by. Thank you.
Hello?
We can hear you very good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will be very fast with the first slide, so I think you're going to run the slides, right?
We are already online.
Hi, Olga.
Hello, Fabio. Yeah, we're already streaming our session, so let's wait for the beginning.
Who's going to run the slides, Olga?
Fabio, like everything will be okay. We will run. If you need next slide, just say next slide. We are already on YouTube. Okay.
Good.
So we already have attendees, Fabio.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. So everything is good. Just tell next slide.
Good.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us today. I'm very happy to see so many people joining us
on the webinar, but also via our streaming channels today to this webinar. My name is Philip, and I'm the host of this webinar, who definitely is going to open your eyes behind the courses of SIT and SIT in general, as we want to build the next generation of digital leaders. In today's webinar, you will learn from our professors about the vision of SIT, and in particular about SIT's master program in computer science and software engineering. You will learn how to do the admission successfully, and we also want that you can share and learn from our current students who are joining us today to share their experience. Looking forward to a very interesting webinar with you. And we have an amazing list of speakers today, not only 2 professors, but also 3 students who are going to share their experience with you, all of you today. And in addition, we have Olga Konyenko, our admissions manager. He's going to join us during the live Q&A if you would have particular questions to ask here. This brings me to some housekeeping rules. Please bear in mind that this is a unique opportunity for you to ask questions on the SIT Master's Program and the way you would like, if you would like to apply, how the admission process is working. So please use the chat function, the Q&A function here in the webinar, but also on YouTube and our other streaming channels, and drop us your questions. We will then pre-select the questions to address them live in our Q&A session. For those questions we don't have time to answer live, we will actually send you after the webinar a list with the answers to all the questions we have received. And if you are eager to ask a question live, you can do so at the very end in our 10 minutes live Q&A session, where you can unmute yourself and ask the question directly to our professors, but also to our students or admission managers. But now let's get started and jump into the webinar. And our first professor I would like to introduce is Fabio Bamoli. Fabio Bamoli is in our strategic advisory board, and he is professor of economics and management at the Politecnico di Milano. And he will share the vision of SIT, what we want to achieve, as we are still a very young university based in Switzerland. Fabio, very happy that you join us today. Stage is yours.
Thank you, Philip. It's a real pleasure for me to be here today. And I really thank you for opening the floor. I would like to project a few slides, if possible, so we can start. Great. So the first important point is that the different trajectories, the 3 areas that I will talk about around computer science and software engineering, physics, and quantitative business sciences, are bundled together within SIT in order to address some of the problems that really can help us, if solved, to improve the quality of our societies and the quality of life around the world. Here you see the connection between what we aim to do into the different research areas I'm going to talk about in a few minutes, and these broad important development goals to make our world more sustainable and to reduce inequality and to diffuse education. We can move ahead to the next slide. So the idea is to combine research, fundamental research in material sciences, quantum computing, quantum physics, and economics and finance, together with a kind of a clear orientation towards mission-oriented trajectories. This is what I was referring to, solving any possible dichotomy between fundamental science and applied research. In our labs, we try to combine those 2 perspectives, and we try to do it combining strategic orientation with academic freedom. We can move to the next slide. This is basically a very synthetic representation of the three areas as we are developing them. Hiring young talented scientists worldwide, and so having an Institute for Advanced Studies which perform research within SIT, and this research becomes the source of our programs and our educational activities like in any graduate school. But the way in which we combine those different domains is unique, because the plasticity that we are able to implement is a plasticity which allows us to violate boundaries that normally you have between different departments in a traditional university setting. Normally you have a department of business sciences, a department of physics, and a department of computer sciences. In our vision of SIT, those three areas interact, and we have also supporting technologies, as you will see, that help us in promoting the interaction between scientists in these areas. But it is the mission orientation that you see from our reference to generative domains, which is promoting collaboration between those three areas. And so there is a common ground in terms of an emphasis on computational modeling and computational methods and mathematical modeling applied to those different domains. And this is a key ingredient also in terms of our education programs, because then students are exposed to the most advanced techniques coming from topological data analysis, from statistical physics, and for advanced computer scientists and so on. So we can move to the next. This is a representation of the overall SIT ecosystem. We introduced the term SIT zone, which is an idea that our founder, Sergei Belousov, has created around the entire SIT ecosystem, and which is a way for us to refer to the fact that our research and education activities are also related to their future development and to different dimensions which are relevant for society. So we have also startups which are already active within the SIT ecosystem, like Alemira, which is introducing disruptive innovation into the way in which online programs and hybrid programs are developed in education. Autonomous, as you can see from the name, there is a focus on autonomous systems. For example, there is a team working on roboraces, but it's a company which is focusing also on science transformation consulting. And then we have our academy, so our executive programs factory, which is also related to what we are doing. And the ecosystem is also made by innovative companies that are attracted to work with us because of the quality of our research. Then there is another component, which is a platform, which is a general platform, which is a repository of computational capacity and algorithmic libraries, both conventional and quantum. And I don't want to enter into the details of this platform, which we are currently developing, but this is a key ingredient for research performed within SIT in the different entities, because it's providing a kind of a factory for data analytics and for data transformation, which is also a factory for education, and is a unique toy room for our students to contribute to the improvement of programs and to the quality of the benchmarking exercises that we can perform in different application domains. We can move to the next slide. This is a kind of a snapshot of different trajectories, but on this my colleague and friend Mauro will be much more detailed, and he will articulate the representation of the different areas, the different trajectories which are currently implemented and under development within the computer science team. So you see the coexistence between AI and autonomous machines with the software engineering. On another side, we have application to data analytics through different simulative and machine learning and deep learning exercises. And I don't want to enter into this in much more detail. We can move to the next. The next is our group in physics, which maps onto material sciences and quantum computing. And you can see here a very important set of interfaces and interactions between that component, the physics component, and the computer sciences component, which is emerging from, for example, the emphasis on devices, on sensors, and the emphasis on the very same core of artificial intelligence, deep learning, and machine learning algorithms that I was referring to. So we can move to the next one. And this is the last. This is basically the area in which I'm more active. And as you can see, we are not talking about qualitative business sciences here. We are talking about application of advanced computational methods and mathematical models to finance and to problems like, for example, the detection of the emergence of systemic crises, or to problems like nowcasting in financial markets and the prediction of phase transitions in financial markets. So with a lot of interactions with our colleagues and with students coming from computer science and physics. We can move to the next. This is the last point that I want to emphasize, the fact that we are also working to a kind of an interaction between the different streams, also for our education programs. So this is what we are working on now, which is to generate a program in computational methods and mathematical modeling, which has a common ground between the different trajectories, between computer sciences, physics, and quantitative business sciences. And then it allows students to develop their own trajectories into the specific fields of interest. So I hope you will find as exciting as I found this SIT initiative, and I wish you all the best for the important conference that you are taking part to today. And Philip, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Fabio, for sharing with us this big picture. And indeed, it's a very exciting setup and vision the SIT is going to achieve and work on in the near future. Now, I'm very happy to see that we already have a lot of questions coming in, which is great. And I really hope our next speaker is able to answer at least most of them. No pressure on you, Mauro. But it's my pleasure now to introduce Professor Mauro Pezze, who is the Managing Director of our Master's Program in Computer Science and Software Engineering. So the particular program we are talking about today. And he is a very distinguished professor in quality engineering. He is editor-in-chief of the ACM Transactions on Software Engineering. He is also co-author of a very influential book on software testing and analysis. And in his career, he has graduated already more than 25 PhD students, and he is very much engaged in the topic in research, but also in the teaching part. So we are very happy to have him in the team, and he is leading the program. Now, most importantly, he's going to share the insights why you should actually join the SIT Master's Program in Computer Science and Software Engineering. He's not only to talk about the program itself, but he also going to talk about career opportunities you will actually have once graduated, and he will also talk about the admission process. Fabio, stage is yours.
Okay, thank you, Philip. Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you, Fabio, for actually giving us such an exciting vision of SIT. My goal is today to give you an even more exciting vision of our Computer Science and Software Engineering Master of Science that we started this year, and we are heading to the second edition. My first idea is, or my first goal is to tell you why you should actually come to SIT, why choosing a master in computer science and software engineering, why choosing a master in a university which started this year, why taking these big challenges of getting to this new environment. Well, there are several reasons. I list here 7 reasons, but I could actually go out with 70 or 700 reasons. Let me get to the more important one that I see. There are several masters in computer science around the world. It's a very popular topic with many different variations. There are some masters in software engineering, a bit fewer, but there's still many. There is no master that puts together computer science and software engineering. So we are the only one who actually put together these two disciplines in a way which is unique and different from any other way. It's the way that actually was suggested by our key industrial partners that say, yes, we need computer scientists, but not only. Yes, we need software engineers, but not only. What we need is a unique blend of these two features. We have a program. Of course, you know, moving on, we actually offer a unique program that actually is not just science. It's not just technology. We'll come to that a bit later. It is about leadership. So again, our industrial partner says we don't need only little people who sit down and work in isolation. We don't need only people who actually are maybe a fantastic nerd living in their own bubble. We need leaders. We need people who can actually put together a big amount of teams that can work together to actually bring towards the realization of the future systems. People, thanks to this unique feature of SIT, which is a new private startup university, we do have access to top leading researchers and top leading business people, and we'll tell you much more later. Of course, you know, we are in a time where the current COVID situation brings all universities online. There is this big impact. We are all online. We were online and we are online and will be online in a unique formula before, during, and after the COVID. So we are not simply offering you the possibility of coping with this transient emergency with COVID to actually not be able to be in presence in the class. No, we offer a class which is shaped like the working environment of today and the future. Today, and you look around the speakers, you know, we are all in SIT, none in the same location. We are sitting in different locations, working together. We do work together. The work is not just getting the office, sitting on the desk and working. It's more like meeting, talking, working together in teams which are by nature distributed. And we do actually offer this experience already in teaching, which is this agile, distributed, flip learning experience where you can work online together, on site, no matter whether you are physically there or virtually there, but you work all together. I mentioned already the partnership. The partnership is not just access to people. It is access to the research and industrial infrastructure. Currently we have an agreement with worldwide leading universities, partners who actually host our students, our best students. We do have partnership with leading companies who host our students for learning how to work in different environments, how to enrich the experience. And in fact, we do offer double degree this year with Carnegie Mellon and the National University of Singapore, leading universities in US or North America and Asia. So together with SIT, we offer a complete leadership in the 3 northern continent, America, Europe, and Asia. And we I've been working with these partners for a few years now, and we hope to continue working with them also for this edition. And we do have a good way of incentive to the top students, regardless of their economic conditions. So we do actually offer some scholarship to let the students who are really great, but may not be able to actually cope with the cost of living in Switzerland to join us for the master. Now, if we go to the next slide, okay, I will tell you about the unique set of skills. There is one element which is important. When I started this adventure with SIT, I was introduced to about a dozen of different industrial partners, and I was claiming that we actually work on building the most technical people in the for their infrastructure, and they look at me with a bit skeptical eyes and say, "What do you mean by technical skills?" Well, we prepare the best technical people for you. No, we don't need technical people only. We need digital leaders, which is much more than technical people. So let's go to the next slide that tell you that we are actually blending three different components in our education. Of course, the technical skills, computer science, software engineering is a key element in our system, but we are also dealing with management skills, because we need to actually manage a group. And we are also deal with leadership skill, because it's not just a matter of managing people, but it's a matter of leading large, important projects. And so if we go to the next slide, we talk about technical leadership. And the next slide will actually show you the key technical elements in our program, and okay, I don't read everything because, we can all read, but, just to give you a sample, we talk about technical quality engineering, cyber protection, data science, deep learning, quantum informatics. This is topics that we actually get exposed in the master. Management, we talk about vision, design, transformational changes in our products. Talking about leadership, we talk about organizational psychology, agile leadership, customer-centric mindset. We talk about entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship, which is actually a very important part of our master. And let's go next to the next slide. Okay, we have access to the top leaders in research and business. And the next slide gives us a sample. This is not all the people we access to, but it's a sample. Again, I don't want to read each name because it takes too much time and we don't have that much time. I want to tell you much more than that. But let me actually go quickly. Kostya is the chair of our advisory board. He is, if I'm correct, the youngest Nobel Prize winner in the last century in physics. So he gives big insights about how to deal with advanced materials. Sergey is the founder and the CEO and the current leader of Acronis, the only unicorn in Schaffhausen. For the one of you, as me, who are not expert of the business terminology, unicorn is a company that is worth more than $1 billion. Okay, which is something that I cannot even imagine, except for the number, the way you write it. We have access to Barry McManus, who is actually used to be a consultant for the major US agencies, and he's an expert in security, in government services, in information, in deception, in detection. We have access to Stanislav, who is a co-founder of Acronis. He is our expert in leadership, and we have access to many different scientists who actually are available, and for us, as a reference for understanding how to evolve and work around. And now, if we go to the next slide, let me tell you about leading teaching style. Okay. It's easy to say. We do have, okay, they are young, so we have the big advantage and the challenge of being a new infrastructure. So you come to SIT, we have this fantastic blended Zoom classroom that we can actually use in a very nice way. We will be able to use when the Swiss government will allow us to go to the class, actually. But we did try in the beginning, and we will try in the future. But it's not like that. You can find these fancy rooms everywhere. We are doing something which is much different, which is what we call agile flip blended learning. Now, when you talk about flip learning, big schools use flip learning. Flip learning is a new technique to allow students to get exposed to the information they need to acquire before the class and get the most biggest advantage of the education advantage from the work online with the professor, with the instructor, with the teaching assistant. We're talking about blended, because it's not just flip learning, is flip blended learning. You know, we alternate flip learning with different kind of styles. We talk about agile, we are moving around and we do not actually leave you in the need of being physically in the class. I did actually got this experience in Singapore when I was a professor there a few years ago. And, you know, yes, they do use flip learning, but you must be in class. And as I said at the beginning, you know, we are actually, our team are blended, are agile. You can sit down a day in the class, the day after at home, the day after at the seaside, and be with us virtually or remotely. In the next slide, I'll tell you a bit more about our online remote activities. Okay, we do have teams that can work on site and remote at the same team. We do have direct experience with industrial projects. Internship and master thesis at companies, or virtually or physically. We have top class academic instructors with deep learning experience. We have a series of seminars that we are organizing starting next semester with world leaders. We have personalized digital learning management system. So we actually allow students to work in their best way, and we are improving quickly also on that part. Let me go to the next one and talk about the direct access to leading research centers. Okay, and the next slide, tells us about, summarizes what Fabio already gave us as an introduction. Fabio mentioned, you know, this unique blend of different vocation in SIT, which is from the software engineering, computer science, to physics, to business science, when we build. And here is a list of laboratories or chairs in SIT that are active or will be active. Most of them will be active because they are new. And each of them has a strong partnership with the leaders worldwide, and we can access this directly from the labs. We mentioned the partnership with NUS, National University of Singapore, with also a double degree for this year. We mentioned the partnership with CMU, Carnegie Mellon University, leading in the US with a double degree this year as well. I didn't mention yet, but we do have a partnership with the University of Cambridge, with top leaders in Cambridge in quantum computing. I mentioned Costia before in Singapore and Manchester, and Fabio is currently also in Politecnico di Milano, which is a leading university in Europe. So we do have access to many leading universities in different groups and accesses. Now, if we go to the next slide, I'd like to tell you a bit more about our industrial experience, which again, you know, it's something that you really want to experience and you really want to go deep into. And let me go to the next slide to talk about industrial experience. Okay, how do we actually experience this breadth with industry? Well, you know, I have a lot of experience, too long experience already. So many competing universities gives you or pretend to give you, claim to give you access to industry, but you know, it is completely different to be a government-based university ruled with government rules, or be an agile private university with strong liaison, direct liaison with industry. We have several elements that are completely new and I've not seen them anywhere. I've not seen them in Europe, I've not seen them in Asia, I've not seen them in North America. Capstone project. Every semester, we have students working in teams to practice, put on practice their experience, their knowledge that they actually acquire during the courses. Okay, well, what's new with having some lab courses? We have a professor who is an instructor, who is a leader in a leading company in Switzerland and Europe and worldwide. Our professor in the capstone project is not a pure academic person. He is a person who has a position as a manager, as a project leader, who is the product owner of a core products in companies. So our capstone project does not pretend to be mimicking industrial experience. It is industrial experience. You sit down with the same rule, the same pressure, the same organization as you have in a company, led by a leader who is leader in a leading company. We have an internship. We are finalizing the agreement with several companies, which will offer internship to our students, and I don't pretend this to be new. I mean, everybody, many other companies, many other universities offer this opportunity. But we do have yet another completely unique and novel initiative, what we call startup thesis. Masters have a thesis. And, you know, at my time, theses were a research thesis. So you had to sit down months and months to actually try to produce some good ideas. We still have very good, important opportunities to do a classic research thesis. Now, I use the word classic. I hope it's not going to be like a sort of not exciting. I did my classic research thesis, and it's actually the main gate to a PhD, to a fantastic academic and research career. So we do have this experience. We do have it with leaders worldwide, but this is not new. Other universities may offer you the opportunity to do a research thesis. We do have industry thesis, industry project. Industry project means you know, you can sit together with in the industrial teams and work with industrial teams remotely or on site during your thesis. And this is also a completely different experience. Again, great with great companies is not a unique feature of SIT. You can get it in other universities, but you can also do a startup thesis. What is a startup thesis? Well, we strongly believe that our students have ideas that can actually are ready to go to the market. Our students have ideas that have this unique blend of research, innovation, and market opportunities that can lead to a startup. So a startup thesis is building the proposal for a startup. You see on the right hand side of the slides our card that runs on RoboRace. This is our prototype of a startup thesis. This is a student who actually comes from the SIT Galaxy. He is not a master student of SIT because he started a couple of years before SIT, but he is actually was trained in the same fashion, in the similar environment with similar ideas. And Ilya created this startup in SIT. So this is not a thesis technically, a master thesis, but could be a prototype, or is a prototype of our startup thesis. Ilya got this fantastic idea of creating a new way to actually run cars, and he actually lead this company who is sitting in the SIT Startup Garden and who is competing with in the world championships for self-drive electric cars, and we are competing with little teams like the team of MIT or Stanford or Berkeley, and we win. Okay, and this is the unique opportunity of a startup thesis. We have access to industry leaders. We are, and you know, our students who will tell you later will experience next semester the first series of seminars with digital leaders, and this unique opportunity of working with industries gives also a lot of career opportunities right after the master. And let me go back to the next slide, and we go forward the next slide. So the next slide gives you some ideas of career opportunities. This is like, you know, the 7 reasons to join SIT. I could spend a day telling about the 700 reasons to join the SIT Master. These are 5 out of the many different profiles that we actually focus on when we teach and we design and work on our education program. Chief architect. It's not just software architect. You need to actually build not just one single instance, but a huge, big system, which is not just software, it's everything. It's software, is cyber physical, is machine learning, is AI. You know, the product officer, our product, our people are not, our students are not ready for like this classic of the shared product, but you need actually to build products that evolve and adapt on time. Program officer. Programs are really difficult to frame today because you actually need to, you have a huge amount of stakeholders, you have a frantic planning system. You need to actually work in this idea, which requires, again, this blend of technical management and leadership skill. Development officer, you know, we don't create programmers only, but programming is sort of the core part of our system, but we create developer officers, chief developer officers, people who can actually stay in the team and work jointly on this enormous evolving and changing system. And security officers, you know, chief security officer. Security is not just anymore a little encryption, a couple of passwords, but is a unique, enormous element that should involve technical skills, people skill, management skill, and leadership skill. And let me actually go to the next slide where I see how we actually create these career opportunities. Okay, so we are going for we have a classic master, but we also have yet another two new opportunities. And let me go to the next slide, which tells you what we have. Okay, we have classic master. The classic master is a classic master, 3 semesters of courses, 1 semester of physics, and an opportunity for a summer internship. We have a fast line master. What is a fast line master? Well, you know, our students, most of our students, a lot of our students are great students. They can actually put some extra effort in their study in the second semester, in the third semester. They are willing to get to the market earlier than possible, and they can work on their thesis in the 2 semesters and in the summer and be on the market within 18 months instead of the 24 months. So this is the fast lane. Same program squeezed into 3 semesters, so you can be in the market, on the job market 1 semester earlier and to start your career. And then we have the double degree for the best students. We offer the opportunity to spend time in Carnegie Mellon or in NUS to acquire a degree, which is actually a valid degree in North America or in Asia and worldwide. And let me actually go to the next slide, which actually maybe it's one of the most important one at this point, which is admission, fees, and scholarship. Next slide tells you about the admission process. Okay, so the admission process, this is a very quick information, but very essential information. Registration, 2 application deadline, end of April, end of August. What is the difference? If you need a visa to move to Switzerland, you need to apply by end of April to give us the time to help you getting the visa to come to Switzerland. If you already have a visa or you already have so you apply from Switzerland or from any European Union country, you do not need a visa, or the visa is much faster, and so you can apply by end of August. Let me go to the next slide. Okay, and let me tell you about the admission process. Okay, actually these are fees and scholarship. Okay, fees and scholarship. Okay, we have tuition fees. The tuition fees of SIT are in line with the top Swiss universities. So we ask for 5,000 Swiss francs per semester for non-Swiss students, and following the government regulation, we actually offer 2,500 francs per semester for Swiss resident. There is a small fee, 35 francs for the application, but we do have 3 possibilities, which for some of our students. Okay, we have a tuition waiver, which means if students wants to apply, they can get be exempted to pay the tuition fee for 1 semester if they perform particularly well in the semester. Now, the rule is explained clearly on the website. In a nutshell, you need to keep a very high GPA through the semesters to maintain, to be eligible for tuition fee exemption. Full scholarship, we do have a handful set of scholarship for some of our students who actually need support to be in Switzerland. The full scholarship are a little money that help students to live in Switzerland at the Swiss standards. Again, you get full information on the website, and then we have a double degree scholarship depending on the yearly renewed agreement with our partner universities. We may offer some opportunities for some of our students to study abroad, to complete their study abroad. And this year we have a few opportunities for NUS and CMU, and the next year we are also negotiating with the same university and other universities, and we will keep you updated through the website. Now, if we go for the next slide. Okay, I thank you all. I try to be in time with a 25 minutes slot. I hope Philip will acknowledge my timeliness, and I let now the students tell, because of course I'm enthusiastic. I designed this master. I like I wish I were a student to apply for this master, but you want to hear from the students what their experience with the master. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mauro. I think indeed it was very helpful to understand the structure of the program, the career opportunities, and how people can apply. So, but as you said, it's my pleasure now to introduce our first student, Timilo Luba, who is joining us today, and he will actually talk about his very interesting admission story, and also some key takeaways he took so far from the program. So, Timilo, stage is yours. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks, Felipe. Hi, everyone. My name is Timilo Filippo Joe. A little bit about myself. I graduated from Joseph Arababla University in Nigeria, where I had the first class in microbiology. I also won various leadership and sports awards. I also have a degree in information technology, certificate in information technology from the British Computer Society. My point of being here basically is to just give you guys an overview of my admission story stroke process and some key takeaway I've taken from studying at SIIT. Please, can you go to the next slide? Yes, so my admission story, I applied 2 days before the deadline. I guess I got the application rounds information quite late. But overall, my application process was very smooth, and that's attributed to the fact that I already had my documents prepared because I had plans on advancing my career beyond a bachelor's degree. I had 2 interview processes. One was with Professor Bertrand Meyer. That was more of a technical interview to assess my readiness for the master's program. Another was a scholarship stroke get to know you interview with the vice president of our cronies. I got a feedback a week later with regards to my application to the school, and within a month I got scholarship feedback that I had gotten the scholarship. Overall, my admission story stroke application process was very smooth. Even if I applied late, I would advise that if you're going to apply, you should apply quite early, because you may not be as lucky as me with regards to having all your documents prepared. The next slide. The key takeaways is at SIT, you get an opportunity to study with various diverse people from different backgrounds. I have classmates from India, classmates from South Korea, classmates from Russia. You also it's also an opportunity whereby you don't just learn the theory, you don't just learn the technical stroke leadership and management skills, but you get to practice it that same week in courses like the Capstone Project. We also get to attend some world-changing events with top global leaders that Mario Peze has mentioned. And lastly, I think the most important for me, when you look at my background my academic background in microbiology, SIT places no academic limitation on your academic background. It's as long as you have the hunger to learn, you have the desire to learn, it is readily satisfied by very professional professors who are ready to help. So thank you very much. Next slide, please. In case you have any questions, please feel free to drop me an email. That's my email there, or you could connect with me through LinkedIn. That's it there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining us today and sharing your experience here. Next, we have Robia with us. She's going to actually tell us why she has chosen SIT to study here and also share some of her experiences. Robia, stage is yours. Thanks.
Thank you, Felipe. My name is Rabia, and I'm currently a master's student at the Schaffhausen Institute of Technology. A little bit of information about my background. I graduated from Bucharest State University in Uzbekistan with a specialization in informatics, information technologies. And during my studies, I participated in different informatics and programming contests. And after bachelor degree, I decided to continue my studies with a master degree and choose the Schaffhausen Institute of Technology. Next slide, please. You might be interested in why I choose SIT. In the beginning, I went through the official website and read all of the information about the master program and tried to learn more through the social media, YouTube, and also SAT Masters Insights 2020. It was a new program and had some doubts, but the following aspects helped me to overcome them. First of all, the environment, which helps you to gain not only knowledge, but also leadership skills and critical thinking. Also, in your teaching method, in a flipped classroom, you see the material at home and then discuss any problems with your professor during the class. Besides, the SAT story is awesome, funded by entrepreneurs, led by scientists, and advanced by world-class researchers. And of course, attractive scholarships. As you know, SAT offers tuition waiver scholarship, also full scholarship and double degree scholarship with monthly payments so that you can focus on your studies and not worry about anything else. Also, for me, it was important to have a well-structured list of courses, plus a capstone project in which we put our knowledge to practice, like creating a website through web app through our master program. Next slide, please. So, what valuable things have I got after my studies as SAT? First of all, lots of knowledge in a short period. Also, real experience and met some of the world-class scientists like our provost, Professor Bertrand Meyer, and the director of the master's program, Mauro Petze, and many, many others. And I loved the product vision, strategy, and innovation in marketing course, and looking forward for the next semesters. Next slide, please. So, my personal admission tips for 2021 who are planning to apply. My number one advice is please be on time for the interviews. I was a bit late, so felt nervous during my whole interview. Also, the interviews last only 15 or 20 minutes, so I would advise you to be in the meeting room even 5 minutes before. Number two, be confident and knowledge hungry. You should study what you love and try to have your future goals clear. On a more technical level, be familiar with object-oriented programming concepts. Because on my interviews, I was asked about some object-oriented programming concepts like classes and so on. Even if you are not asked to this type of question, this knowledge will definitely help you during your master's program later. My last tips about scholarships. If you are interested in getting a scholarship, I think almost all of you prepare to study hard. Thank you very much and wish you good luck with your application. If you have any questions, please contact me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robia, for sharing your insights. Next, I would like to invite Michael. He is actually also talking about why he has joined SIT, but also about the SIT STAR concept.
Okay, thank you. Good day. Some words about me. My name is Michael Martinson. Last summer, I graduated from Moscow Institute of Physics and Technology with specialization in data analysis. I found that information about SAT through SAT STAR contest on CodeForce's site. By that moment, I had some experience in competitive programming, and decided to try. Some words about Seed Star contest. It is an online coding challenge organized by SAT when you solve programming problems. The main prize is a scholarship for master program at SAT. In the contest, I took about 7th place, and firstly wasn't sure about my results. But in a few weeks, Seat Admission Committee contacted me and invited to send my application. I'm actually a bit last-minute person, so I do always this in a few days before deadlines. Please don't do that. Collecting documents is really important. Then admission committee scheduled me 2 interviews, one technical with SAT provost or Professor Mayer, and one with a business partner about scholarship, my expectation of SAT. Finally, I was accepted and got full scholarship. And next slide, please. Why choose SAT? Actually, in MIPT, my bachelor university, I have a really strong technical skills, but nothing about creating a product or leading a team. And I really want to have these skills too, to be not a technical expert, but a team leader or technical leader. And SAT offer a great mixture of technical skill with such courses like marketing or leadership. So I feel like SAT my great opportunity. Also, as Professor Maurer said, SAT have 3 types of master thesis, and one of them is startup. And I really think what I will choose this type of thesis and try to create my own product. So next slide, please. And actually, that's all from me. If you want to contact me and ask any question, please write me in a Telegram. This is my thank you.
Thank you, Michael, for sharing your experience and story here with us. Now we move forward to our Q&A session, which is live. However, we only have a few minutes, and to kick off the discussion, I would like to ask the first question to our Master's Director, Mauro, about the type of student and the quality of student you're looking for who should apply for this very unique program here. And please bear in mind, Mauro, to keep the answer short since we don't have much time. Thanks.
Sure, thank you. No, we are looking for the digital leader of the future. So we are looking to the best students worldwide. So there is no restriction in terms of background, origin. We need people who are curious, interested, willing to actually grow. Of course, we also need a reasonable background in a scientific field, computer science, but not only. So if there is no sort of prerequisite. Of course, the other thing that I was actually answering right now, we also need people, we lecture in English, we need people to actually that understand and can work in English.
Perfect, thanks. And I think we also have seen from the students we have in our webinar today, from their background, it's quite diverse. And that's exactly what SAT is looking for. Now, if you feel this is the right program for you, there have been many questions coming in the Q&A about the application and admission process. Olga, you are the admissions manager here. So maybe you can quickly summarize once more how students should apply and what kind of documents are required as part of the application process.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Philip. Hello, everyone. So first of all, we had many questions in the chat, and I want to remind you that we will collect all of them and to send answers one more time to the email after this event. So no worries, we will reply to all the questions. To summarize everything and how to apply. I think you already was on our website, sat.org, and there is such tab on the menu. This is master's program, and there's a lot of information there. how to apply. Very good FAQ session where you can read and answer and find answers for your questions as well. To apply, you need to fill in the form in this page. This page, when you fill in the form, you will get email with access to the admissions portal. This is your portal, users portal, where you can upload all necessary documents, fill information about yourself, pay application fee of 35 Swiss francs. And after this, we'll review all the documents. There's also option on the chat in this users portal. You can ask questions there as well. What documents you need to upload in this portal? This is diploma and transcript. Should be in English or any Swiss language, German, French, or Italian. Then motivational letter, CV, English certificate if you have such. It's not like very important. If you have such certificate, it will be good. Recommendation letter, at least one recommendation letter, passport or ID, and your photo. That's it. Yeah, so one more time, you should go to sit.org, register there. In 1 minute, you will get email with the access to the admissions portal, which you can use, chat with our admissions managers and specialists there, and do everything there. Yep.
Okay, thank you, Olga. I think this is pretty straightforward from the process. And I have a follow-up question here from Mauro. Now, if people apply, it seems that they would like to know which kind of selection criteria you apply to choose the students for SRT Master's Program.
Well, we apply criteria that actually match our interest in the students. So, of course, you know, as Olga said, there are some basic requirements: English knowledge, basic English knowledge. You need to be able to interact. A bachelor a valid bachelor. That's actually another thing that we ask. But the way we select students is by understanding whether there is a reasonable background that makes the students able to attend the classes. So we do not require deep knowledge in computer science specifically, but we do require knowledge, ability to play with science and models and technology. By the way, we do have one of our students has a bachelor in geography, so that's actually a witness that we are not restricting our vision only to the people who are really, really good hackers, you know. And she's a fantastic student, by the way. She has been working very well, and we are very, very happy with her with us. So really, the background is important in the sense that you need to have some familiarity with science in general, but does not have to be like a top programmer. But the most important things are the personality. You know, you need to be able to show us that you really want to do this master. You really want to become a leader. You will have the quality to be a leader in the future technical stuff. And this is acquired, you know, mostly evaluated through the master. But in admission, we try to actually see how things work. Hopefully this gives some insight. You're muted, Philip. Philip, you're muted.
Right, sorry. Yeah, absolutely. This is fantastic. And just given the time, I think we only have time for one more questions. And please allow me, I just picked one which I consider as rather important for our audience today as well. Mauro, it goes back to you again. In our program description, it's stated that this is a full-time master program. However, I have seen one or the other question coming in, if it's possible to work along doing the studies at the master's program, talking about part-time study opportunities or possibilities.
Well, that's a tough question. It is a full-time master program, and we do organize lectures online, and we do have a workload for students and professors, so is tailored to a full-time attendance of the master program. However, we do also have, especially in this situation, several of our students who are also trying to continue working, keep on a working experience for many reasons, you know, which are more than understandable. So we already tried this semester to adapt to this situation. which means we recommend professors to give enough time for students to actually do their homework and their offline work. We also try to blend online presence with offline or asynchronous activities. So there is a fairly big demand on being online in class, but we are trying to accommodate the different needs of the different students. Maybe some of our students can also comment on that, because I would be curious to see how well we have been doing in this semester. I don't know if you would like Philip to ask any of our students.
Maybe we have one who would like to share. Mikhail, Robia, one of you two. Quick word on that aspect.
I can share my experience. Actually, yeah, it was a Zoom classes, and I think they was pretty good. Actually, I have not much comments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks a lot, and we really already running out of time. It shows actually that we have a very interesting program here and many questions. And just please bear in mind what I mentioned and Olga mentioned before. Again, we're going to answer all your questions after this webinar, so we don't leave any question open here. Please be assured that we try to accommodate all your questions. This brings me to the end of this webinar. And before I close, I would like to make one more announcement. If you want to be part of our community and learn more about the master's program, or even more about the master's program, I'm very happy to invite you to our next event, which is taking place on March 10th, as you see here on the slide. And this is indeed our first online ceremony from the students, the first cohort of students which graduated. They have enrolled in 2019 with our partner universities, Carnegie Mellon and National University of Singapore. And besides the graduation of these students, there will also be a talk by Sergei Belousov about SIT opportunities in general. And last but not least, follow by a lecture of our provost, Bertrand Meyer, on the beauty of software. He is also a faculty of this master's program and a very important person in general at SIT in his role as the provost. So please feel free to join us. You'll find all information on our website. And this is it. This 1 hour has passed really flying by. I hope you have learned a lot. You take along some lessons learned, and hopefully you feel that this is the right program for you and that you move forward to the next step and apply. In case you have particular questions about the master's program, please shoot an email to master-office@sit.org, or if you have any questions about our events, the next one, for example, or future events, do so and send us an email to events@sit.org. It's now my pleasure to thank all of you who have joined us today, so many people from around the world, and also a big thank you to our speakers, Professor Mauro Pezze, and our 3 students who have joined us, as well as Olga from the admissions team. Thanks all of you, and I wish you a lovely day. Bye.